Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Options Trading Mentor. How are you? Well, today I'm going to be talking about a trade that should be relevant into next week. You could probably put this on even on a Monday, but it's a good trade to have in your arsenal in general, and it's the calendar trade. Now, let me share my screen here. The reason I want to talk about this today is because how low the VIX level is. The VIX, of course, is the CBOE's index for volatility. The higher the number, the more tension and fear there is in the market. The lower the number, the more complacent the market is. And at this level, what you can see is that the market's feeling pretty complacent, which means the likelihood of a lot of big moving around isn't quite as high. But we'll talk about that a little bit later with a different trade also, about what we can do if we think it might be going higher. But anyway, it's a great time to put the trade on because the calendar is long Vega, and the volatility, if it goes up, could very well help your position really balloon out that calendar. So let's go over here to SPX. Sorry, folks, got a little bit of hiccups today. Anyway, so if we wanted to do an SPX calendar, what I normally do is I go out to the following week's Friday and then buy that's the short, and then buy the long 3 days later. So in this example, we would do next Friday, the 28th, buying next Monday, the 3rd. Now, when we get into next week, you would go out to that following week, which I think would be like May 5th, May 8th. But still, I wanted to use one that was relative to the place we're in at the moment, just to kind of go over some Greeks. And here we go. We're trading at 41.47. So let's just make this the 41.50. Now, you can do this trade centered anywhere around where we're trading within 5 to 10 points. And as you can see, if I do this trade here, I'm going to pay about $260 a contract if I get filled at the mid. And of course, you can make exponentially more than that depending on how it behaves itself. But you see, we are, of course, long theta, and we're long Vega. That means that the volatility in our long option, its own implied volatility, if it stays firm to higher while the short loses its volatility, that could help us. So another thing you'll notice here is I did go 3 days wide. Sometimes you could consider going even wider. Well, let's see what you get for that. So it's $2.55, $2.60 if I'm 3 days wide, 33 theta, 39 Vega. Now let's go 5 days wide. Now it's 23 theta and 63 Vega. So you can see your volatility exposure goes up. And why would you do this? Well, you might do this if you're really thinking vol could rise and you want an even more of an effect with volatility going up in your favor. But I would lean towards this because it's still long Vega. And so you still benefit from that, but you won't have to pay more for the trade. The 5 day was more expensive. You can see much more expensive. So I would lean towards this. We're kind of moving around. You could do the 40, you could do the 50, somewhere around where we're trading. I usually like to center it within about 10 points. You can lean it a little bit one way or another if you like. But overall, you've got a decent amount of room here. You can always adjust it if you get here on the edges. I'll be talking about adjustments in future videos also. But this trade, we'll put it on, look to get 10 to 15% and take it off. So if you paid $260, what are you looking to get? About 30, 40 bucks per contract and get out. Of course, you can adjust this to whatever side's appropriate for you. Maybe you've never done them, should be doing them on paper. Maybe you've done a ton of calendars. You might be doing 10 contracts. Who knows? That's up to you, your understanding, your risk tolerance, your whole financial situation. Now, I did mention that I'd mentioned another VIX opportunity. I'm going to throw you 2 for 1 today, folks. And if you look at that VIX chart we looked at earlier and you feel like, hey, this is going to go higher, And I think anytime we're 18 and lower, you really got to look at this, because right now down in here, in fact, up to about 18, we're about as low as we've been in well over a year. So if you think that's not going to last, you can go out here 2 to 3 weeks, whatever you want to do. The whole thing about picking a vertical like this is, when do you think the move will happen? Do you think it'll be 13 days? Do you think it'll be 20 days? Because you like to be closer to it. Maybe you think in the next couple of weeks, so 13 days, that the VIX could go higher. Where do you think it might go? Well, we could just look at 20s, pretty good resistance here right off the bat. So maybe to there. So what I would look to do is maybe buy the 18 vertical. Let me get to the verticals here. I got to move this little thing out of my way here. So buy a vertical. And you could buy the 18, sell the 20, for example. Now, that's totally up to you how wide you want to do, what strikes you want to do. But you can see if you did that there, you can have a pretty good return on this if we really do take off and get up to 20 or beyond. And like I said, folks, you could do this certainly different dates. You could do 17, 20, whatever you want to do, 17, 21. The wider a vertical is, the more room you have for it to work for you, but it will also cost you more. So those are things to consider. But I kind of like this 18, 21. Now, one thing about these VIX verticals, whenever you buy a call vertical, if you get a pop, say we put this on whatever day you put it on, and the next day we do get that 3 or 4 point pop up in here, I would just take the profit, because it can easily kind of come right back down. The VIX has a tendency to go up and down, up and down. Really sorry about that, hiccups, folks. Anyway, so just take that off if you get a nice 2, 3, 4 point pop. You can leave it on maybe one more day if you just wanted to take a chance, because many times down moves can be 2 or 3 days. If you want to take that chance, you can. But it's probably easiest just to take this off on any pop. All right, so as always, folks, please like and subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends about it. I'm still trying to grow this thing. We have a lot more things and options to cover, not only strategies and just information, education, but more trades we can look at over time. So a lot more coming. I appreciate your attention. Have a great day and have a great trading week. Bye-bye.